Welcome to Checks and Balances. I'm Michael Vincent. I've got the illustrious James Blair with me, and this one, an absolute banger: money and relationships and how to get on the same page with your partner about that money.
The big thing here is a lot of people aren't. So if you go, I'm not on the same page with my partner around money. A study out of the US, which will be bang on in New Zealand, 50% of people in the US have committed some form of financial infidelity.
Financial infidelity. Well.
Yeah. What do we have here? Do you want me to define financial infidelity?
Well, if this isn't the consequences of my own actions coming to bite me in the ass.
Yeah. So examples of financial infidelity, maybe you have a credit card that your partner doesn't know about. Mike, do you want to just maybe share a little story on that one?
What one?
just the general chat you have with people where there may be a credit card.
Oh, look, to be honest, there are, we will be sitting doing the mortgage application, and I say, cool, any other short-term debts anywhere, credit cards, store cards, afterpays, anything. Usually the female, if it's a male and a female, will be like, nope. And the guy will be like, nope. And I'm like, I know you're
high pitch.
Yeah, it goes, and I'm like, I know you're hiding a credit card. I know your partner doesn't know about it. And honestly, it just is constant. When I moved back from London, I had a credit card with some debt sitting on it that I didn't tell my partner about. And it was only when we went to get a mortgage, she was like, what the hell is this? And it's just for some people, it's a very large amount and it is very shameful. And I can absolutely see why you hide it, right?
Yeah. So the hidden credit cards are one, hidden bank accounts is another, not telling your
definitely don't have one of those.
Yeah. Not telling your partner about how much money you actually earn and hidden expenses.
I have definitely disclosed that fully.
Mate, is this just going to be should we just get Christina in here and we can make this a full-blown therapy session?
Keep going down the list.
Yeah, okay. That's it. That's the list. So that's
about when the bonus comes in.
Yeah. Financial infidelity is all of those examples. Mike, my question to you, why is it so hard for couples to get on the same page about money?
People fundamentally just have different attitudes towards money, and if you want to put it in a buzzword, just different money personalities, right? In most relationships, you'll have a spender and a saver.
Yeah, I'd say 90% of the time, I reckon.
And when you see two savers together, whoo, man, are they out to conquer the world? But man, are they having a shit time doing it?
Just harsh. Ravi's cracking up in the background, so it's good. Yeah. Do you know for every one couple where there's two savers, there's a couple with two spenders, and boy, they have no time of their life.
They have the time of their life,
yeah.
But a lot of lawyers, doctors, combination of those two people, directors of companies, they are going to be doing that from the grave because there's nothing. There's nothing in the reserve tank. No. She's always running on empty.
Yeah.
It's a nice car, but it's running on empty.
On the treadmill, doing 4K miles every time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we've got some examples of different money personalities, which, Mike, I thought might be nice to read through. How are you going with the size of this text? You reckon you've got that for me?
Okay, cool. So this is definitely me, the minimalist, on a sure path to...
Hold up. You said in the right-hand corner. Why didn't you say in the left-hand corner?
Fine. Okay. The contemporary. Living and spending in the now.
Finally, that sounds a lot more like you. Yeah, I'll just keep interrupting you.
You're generous with your money, even if it's a bit of a stretch. When the heart wants what it wants, it usually gets it, James.
The next one is the enterpriser. Crystal clear about your financial future. Don't know anybody along those lines.
Yeah.
You're in the know with your money and know how to use it. You know what you got. You know how to use it.
Yeah.
You're calculated with your spending, always planning ahead.
The minimalist, on the sure path to saving, smart with your money. Some may say cautious, but you're just thinking of the long terms and you're ready to wait out any financial storm in your mum's basement, not spending a cent.
Jeez. The realist, living and spending in the now. You've always got an eye out for living and spending in the now. You've always got an eye out for your own finances. You prefer to play it safe when it comes to your money, even though you know more could be done with it.
Is this the first time you've ever read something?
I just got real confused with the living and spending in the now and then the I'm Making sensible decisions.
And the last one, the socialite,
Hmm.
a pioneer in all things fun. I feel personally attacked. I'm not going to lie. You enjoy the finer things in life and love to share that with those around you. I'm selfish. I know that's probably not me. I'm probably
Yeah.
the contemporary.
Yeah,
Yep.
the socialite with the butterfly. Yeah, it
It's
does.
probably the one terrible tattoo I don't have as a butterfly. But anyway.
Yeah. So those different money personalities will be in a lot of different couples, which will lead to a lot of conflict. The other really big part around it is, the way you got brought up, the household you grew up in, has a huge implication to how you are. I think it's something like 90% of your money habits are defined by the time you're like 4 years old.
Oh
or
yeah,
something like
yeah,
that.
yeah. And like again, I don't want to make this all about me,
However,
but
the socialite will.
yeah, but no, like if I think about my household growing up, there was not a lot of emphasis on discussions about money. And my dad owned his own business, and sometimes it was good, and sometimes it wasn't good, right? And I think that translates now to me a bit, where I'm like, well, if it's good, spend it because it ain't always going to be there, right?
So you haven't spent for about 18 months with the mortgage market the way
Not
it
a
is?
thing.
Yeah. So you've got to keep that in mind as well in terms of the household your partner's been brought up in
Yeah.
when you're thinking about money. Now, the question is, so I guess the next part is, why is it so hard? And, people don't want to go home at night, Mike. Start talking about money, get in a fight before you go home to bed, and you just go, oh, this is miserable.
Yeah, 100%, right? And it's people get very defensive about their money if they think they're not good at managing it, or if they think their partner is better at managing it. And I can't stress this enough, that having the conversation sooner rather than later, you will spend more time worrying about the conversation than it will actually be. We have some horror stories of what one partner has done with money in a relationship that impacts the other. We're talking losing hundreds of thousands of dollars. And we've seen this multiple times. It's not just one customer. And it's generally one person's taken a risk with it, thinking that, we're going to outperform the market, or there's this hot new thing. And it ends up coming back to bite them in the ass. So it's just about having those discussions and getting on the same page.
Yeah. And in my experience, there's two ways to do this. One, you get a financial advisor, and financial advisor mediates it. This is not about getting everybody to come and talk to me. The second way is to talk about your joint goals and to compromise. So as the monkeys that we are, where we're wired to think about things the way we're wired to think about things, we like instant gratification. Why save for this long-term thing? I put $20 in my savings account, don't really feel anything. If I buy a brand new set of wheelies and I'm going down the street and those bad boys are lighting up, I'm getting an endorphin hit.
What is a wheelie? Do you mean Heelys?
Heelys.
Heelys.
I'm doing a
mate,
wheelie
I
in
wear those to
Heelys.
bed. The swag never stops, mate. These are staying on.
Yeah. Cool. Option B of how we can talk to our partner about money is talking about our joint goals, our joint values for the future. Like I said, the way we're wired to think about money is very short term.
Yep.
If we're creating this future of, this is the house we want to live in, this is the head start we want to give our kids, this is the age we want to retire, these are the memories we want to create and the holidays we want to go on to. And then somebody goes, well, I would really like this short-term thing. It would mean a lot to me for these reasons. You negotiate those things in, right?
Yeah, absolutely, right. And it is all just give and take, right? And, I remember when I did my first financial plan with you, James, I was adamant that I had to have a portion there by this date. And I still remember the look that you were both giving me. And that it was funny because you guys compromised and said, yeah, Mike, don't worry, you can have it by then. And I knew in the background that was getting whipped out of the plan as soon as I walked out of the meeting.
I got to be really careful, Like, I got to be Switzerland. If one person feels me leaning too much towards the other way, even if the other one is a complete idiot, I'm not taking sides. But you got to be careful that you're not pissing off one of the people. Mike, let's go through some ideas of how you can also have the conversation. So I've got some bullet points. The first one is to be open about your past experiences with money.
Yeah.
So if the relationship is potentially, there's some baggage and some history there where maybe you've been burnt in the past or had some really bad experiences. Help your partner understand those experiences.
Yeah, absolutely. Talk through them, right? And that is the first piece of getting on the same page. Make sure you understand each other's values, not just money values, but like, what do you value out of life? And, what are the things that are important to you? Because that's one of the ways it's really going to help you sort of, one, get on the same page, but two, when you set the goals, make sure that they're meaningful.
Yeah. Be clear about who pays for what is a really good one. So if you've got separate finances, if you're not at the point where you've got joint finances, you should have a very clear conversation about who's contributing to what, so there's not resentment and anger and kind of, that passive aggressiveness in the future.
Yeah, absolutely. And then the big one, set the financial goals. If you're on the same page, you've talked about your experiences, you understand what really matters to the other person, sit down, set the goals.
Yeah. We've spoken about like a mediator, which would be a financial advisor. The other big one is having regular check-ins. So it might be monthly, it might be quarterly. Have a money date. I know, does not sound like the best way to spend a Friday night, but check in on your goals, check in on your actions, and make sure you're making the progress that you want as a couple, so you're keeping yourself accountable. Yeah,
and you did mention it, but I think you skipped over a little bit about having a mediator. I can't stress how important this is, and I know that we're financial advisors, and James, you often act as a mediator in these scenarios, but like someone impartial is absolutely vital here, because people get emotional about money. And having someone who's not emotionally connected to the discussion is super important, especially if it's a contentious issue between the couple.
Yep. Last one is talk about earning more money, not just spending it. So if we're just focusing on the budget, slightly depressing way to live, let's talk about how we can get our income up as a family, as a couple as well.
Yeah, and I'm always telling James, it's an income problem, not an expense problem.
Yeah, cool. So if you are in a couple, if you've listened to this and you're single, a throuple. I mean, you can't get done in divorce proceedings if you're in a throuple.
You can. There's a relationship property act, update came out about it from the Supreme Court the other day.
Anywho, if you are in a couple, really good action for this one is to have that honest conversation and organize those regular money dates so you can make sure you're keeping accountable, the communication lines are going. Thank you very much for joining us. Please make sure to subscribe so we can share the good word. We'll catch you next time.
Cheers.